Hello, this is Flurry Moon. Welcome back to my channel. Plush toys. Something most people associate with coziness, familiarity, childlike wonder, and overall positive energy. But as we know by now, otherwise wholesome hobbies are not exempt from controversy. Today, we will be taking a deep dive into the times when plushies have started drama. Fights, stolen property, tears, riots of all things. Some retro cases, others from only a few months ago. This is going to be a fun one, you guys. So get your iced coffee, a snack, and your favorite plushie, and let's get right into it. But before we do, you are absolutely going to want to stay tuned till the end, as my favorite small business sent me a bunch of plushies. You guys are lucky enough to see them this entire video if you're not interested in watching me unbox, but I highly recommend you do because lots of tears were shed. It would mean the world to me if you guys were to check out Weeping Waterlilies. You can find them on Instagram, check out their posts there, or if you'd like to shop from them, you can visit their online store. I'll provide the link right here and very first thing in the description. These are beautiful handmade plushies. I complain a lot on this channel about soulless slop products lazily thrown together and the lack of personality and care put into these plushies. Because of all that whining I do, I feel that it's only fair that I platform small businesses that I think do quite literally the opposite of that, creating products that have so much love and care put into them. Anyway, I get more into it later in the video, but I just wanted to talk about it real quick for those who won't stick around till the end. Here's the timestamp for the unboxing, and let's get into the video. Cabbage Patch Riots. We will actually be going in order of controversy, so starting with the oldest, taking place all the way back in 1983. Okay, you guys, before we start this, I just realized Cabbage Patch Kids aren't plushies. I don't know why in my brain I took them as plushies. I think because they're soft, so just ignore that. We're having fun, okay? Try to have some fun. Me getting mad at the imaginary people who are mad. Yes, customers getting violent over collectibles did not begin with Labubus or Squishmallows or even Beanie Babies for that matter. And I'm sure it didn't start with this entry either. We look at things like Labubus nowadays and wonder how children can actually think these aren't the most ugliest things on planet Earth. I don't hate Labubus, don't come after me. But it shouldn't be all that surprising. Before Labubu, we had Cabbage Patch Kids.
They're the worst looking things I've ever seen.
Just a little backstory, as I've actually barely covered Cabbage Patch Kids on my channel. Created in 1977 by a man named Xavier Roberts and originally called Little People, the gimmick here was that you didn't buy these dolls, you adopted them. In fact, the first ever Cabbage Patch Kids were sold at a former medical clinic in Georgia that Roberts turned into an adoption center for these unique handmade dolls. You even had to take a vow of undying love as you adopted one.
Priced them at about $25.
Anyway, the demand was high, and the dolls were very expensive, typically in the hundreds, as they were all handmade. So Roberts signed a deal with Coleco, who began making and selling the dolls for around $25.
$25.
This is where our story begins. It's late November 1983. The chill in the air has gotten more crisp and intense. Sweaters are swapped out for bulky coats and gloves. You're wearing these glasses because it's 1983. Your fuck-ass kid is asking for this ugly doll. You can barely put food on the table. But that doesn't matter because it's Christmas. And if Santa doesn't get them this stupid toy, little Timmy will think he was a bad boy this year. And we can't let that happen, can we? You hop into this thing, the radio plays Every Breath You Take by the Police about 12 times by the time you pull up to Kmart. The plan is, get the doll and get out. They're pretty popular this year, so good thing you're early, right? Wrong. Lines out the door since midnight. Pushing, shoving, jumping over crowds, middle-aged women grabbing the dolls out of children's hands.
A full-grown woman taking a doll out of a child's hand?
Cops trying to calm down the crowds. Why does someone have a baseball bat? It was madness, riots driven by panic, but most importantly, love. Almost every single customer committing violent acts was doing so for the little girl at home who would be crushed on Christmas morning.
What are we supposed to say? You've been good, but Santa ran short?
Most people fighting for these dolls didn't even understand the hype.
I mean, they are pathetic looking, they're homely.
I think homely is the most diabolical thing you can ever call someone. One day I got a comment that was like, I love how she doesn't have a crazy looking appearance, or basically calling me plain. I was like, I am about to jump off a cliff. Calling them homely and the ugliest things they've ever seen.
They're the worst looking things I've ever seen.
But it didn't matter. Kids liked them for whatever reason. Many credit the craze to the adoption fantasy. I even read that apparently back in the day, some kids actually fantasized that they were adopted. I've never heard of this. I do know a lot of people who would lie about being adopted, but I can definitely relate to gravitating towards adoption products. That sounds really weird. Like pets and animals and stuff, like Webkins, like how it was like adopt your pet and take care of it, and rescue pets. He's back there. I don't know, anything that came with like a little certificate or something, count me the fuck in. I was ready to sign the papers. The whole adoption thing, it really felt like I actually owned an animal, like, and not just picked something off a shelf at a store, even though I knew that's what actually happened. It was just, I don't know, it was just fun, you know? Whatever the reason, all adults knew was that their kid had to have it, and they would stop at nothing to make Christmas morning magical. Many fights broke out at various stores with Cabbage Patch dolls in stock. Hair pulling, shoving, punching, and many people actually ended up in the hospital due to the violence. In Pennsylvania, one woman suffered 3 broken ribs and a broken leg after being savagely knocked to the floor by an unidentified man who snatched a Cabbage Patch Kid from her hands and fled the scene. As mentioned before, a store manager stationed himself behind a counter holding a baseball bat for protection against the rabid crowd. It was really something else. But it didn't just stop at trampling others in stores to get the dolls. Bizarre rumors began to float around concerning other roundabout ways you could get one. For instance, in Milwaukee, 2 DJs made a joke that a load of Cabbage Patch dolls would be dropped from a B-29 bomber to anyone that held up catcher's mitts and American Express cards. And surprisingly, 24 people actually believed this, taking the otherwise obvious joke very seriously. So they all joined at the county stadium in the freezing cold with a wind chill of -2 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh my god. By 1984, I think I think Coleco and everyone else involved got the gist that there should probably be a larger stock of these things, and I don't believe any other incidents happened again. What are we drinking today? I made a cookie butter latte, like with actual cookie butter. I got inspired by Dunkin' because I love their cookie butter latte, but too lazy to leave the house and I should probably save money. And you guys, this is actually better. This is actually better. This honestly just shows me that it's pretty much human nature to go crazy over a product. Everyone likes to throw around people these days a lot, but the truth is we've always been insane. We just see it more now with social media at our fingertips. If you didn't have children or even keep up with the news at the time, chances are you probably never even would have heard of this. Keeping up with random current events was kind of something you had to intentionally do, besides hearing it from word of mouth. Although I do believe we are a bit crazier now. Anyway, I feel like this is a good controversy to start with, as it kind of sets the tone for the others, possibly even getting the ball rolling for future plushie toy riots. Also, with the festive theme of this entry, let me know if you guys would be interested in a holiday toy craze type of video for the month of December. I do have a really fun toy video planned, hopefully for the week of Christmas, and I'll probably do some holiday themed lost media as well. But let me know if there's anything specific you guys would like to see, and let's move on. Beanie Baby court couple. Moving on to the year 1999 with the infamous Beanie Baby couple. This is a much less violent drama than the previous one, but not any less fascinating. Even if you weren't around in the 90s, chances are you know how big Beanie Babies were. Often credited as the first internet sensation, this fad is another example of collectors having no boundaries when it comes to what they would do for these little guys. In 1998, travelers were smuggling Beanie Babies over the border from Canada, hiding them in places like hidden compartments as if they were literal drugs. This was due to the rule being one baby per person over the border, which is absolutely fucking wild. I don't blame them. I'd probably do the same. What? Who said that? Speaking of drugs, one New Hampshire couple forged checks to buy thousands worth of Beanie Babies just to resell them for even more in order to purchase heroin. Little fun fact. In 1999, one man earned the name the Beanie Baby Bandit after he stole over 200 Beanie Babies from a shop in New York. The burglar was arrested, but the babies were never found. However, if you've been on the internet, like, at all, chances are you've probably seen this photo. It's honestly funny to think about something so silly and to some trivial having to be officially decided by the court, but what actually is the backstory here? Well, in November of 1999, after being divorced for 4 months, Harold and Frances were, according to their divorce agreement, required to divide up their Beanie Baby collection, which was allegedly at the time worth somewhere around $2,500 to $5,000. However, the couple had failed to do so on their own. Half the Beanie Babies had yet to be returned to Harold, the entire collection still in Frances's possession. So Harold felt he had no choice but to file a motion to get his share. Needless to say, the judge was so over it, basically having to scold the couple like children who refused to share. A direct quote from the Las Vegas Sun, "I'd just had enough," said Hardcastle, who had been a family court judge for 7 years. "We spend a lot of time dealing with some simply unreasonable issues. They are time-consuming, expensive issues. A lot of our calendar is made up of just this kind of nonsense. So I told them, bring the Beanie Babies in, spread them out on the floor, and I'll have them pick one each until they're all gone." Hardcastle also invited reporters. If you're not embarrassed to stand in front of a district court judge and ask to have your Beanie Babies divided, why should you be embarrassed for the press to be there? Maybe they don't want their neighbors to know. But I still think there's something to be said for people being held accountable for their actions, and Harold filed this motion that takes up court time. Okay, this judge is honestly iconic. Him inviting the press is so messy, but I mean, he's right. If you feel no shame in bringing this problem to the court, then who are you to be embarrassed that people are seeing it? I would have owned it, honestly. I love my freaking Beanie Babies and I want them back. Point blank, period. However, I don't actually believe Harold really even cared about the Beanie Babies themselves, as it seemed he just wanted his money back. Which is fair technically, but it kind of made me root for him a little less. I thought he was actually that passionate about his Beanie Babies, but whatever. Anyway, it actually did end up only taking about 10 minutes to sort everything out. I think probably because the couple was embarrassed and wanted to get the hell out of there. The exes went their separate ways, and that is the end of the story as far as we know. This was probably incredibly silly to the public at the time, hence why the two were so embarrassed at the press covering their story. However, we would quickly begin to see how, to quote one of the attorneys in this case, goofy people can get about collectibles. By the way, there are so many Beanie Baby controversies, so I will definitely touch on those if I ever do a part 2 of this, so let me know if you guys would be interested, and let's move on to the next. Hello Kitty Singapore riots. Let's move on to a year later in 2000 with another riot. This was when McDonald Singapore held a collaboration with Hello Kitty, selling these beautiful Hello Kitty and Dear Daniel wedding plush collectibles, each set representing a different culture. If this sounds familiar, I did a whole section on this controversy over a year ago, but I'd like to return to it with a little bit more information, better scripting, and it's just a wild ride, so I needed to talk about it again. Apparently, this Hello Kitty collaboration was exclusive to Singapore as a way to express gratitude to the customers, as business had been doing extremely well at the time. So, here's how it went down. In order to get a special Hello Kitty and Dear Daniel plush set with your food, you had to purchase an extra value meal and pay an additional $4.50 Singapore dollars for each set. This included the Millennium Wedding starting on January 1st, 2000, then Malay, Korean, Romantic, Japanese, and Chinese. What I totally missed at the time covering this, I don't know if I just poorly researched. That sounds like me. Or if this article was even out yet, I'll have to double check. Was that this campaign actually went on for over a month, with one wedding culture set being released weekly. On the second day of the collaboration, it became clear that these toys were in very high demand. Not only because they're cute little plushies, but because they were considered collectibles that could be sold for hundreds of dollars at the time. This became very apparent when it was reported that around 250,000 to 300,000 people were waiting in the queue to get the kitties on day 2 of the 1-month campaign. This meant trouble for McDonald's, as only 400,000 of each set were created in the first place. So, as we saw with the Cabbage Patch Kids, people would do whatever it took to get their hands on these kitties, whether it be for their loved ones, for themselves, or to make a profit. On the first day of the campaign, a doctor and truck driver got into a fight over the Millennium Kitties. On the first day of the Korean wedding kitties, the crowd was so intense that they shattered the glass of the restaurant. 7 people were injured, resulting in 3 being sent to the hospital. From this day on, the kitties were limited to 4 per person, which probably should have been implemented from the very beginning. To be fair, I don't think they thought this craze would be as intense as it was. On the first day of the Japanese wedding kitties, 3 men were arrested for disorderly behavior after a riot began at one location at 4:30 a.m. They had apparently thrown stools at the police officers. That same day, 3 other men were arrested at 3 different locations. In an article entitled Hello Kitty, Then Goodbye Golden Arches, written by Alan John, states, "I'm told that a group of peace-loving Buddhists met last Saturday and were discussing how to encourage a civil society here when someone mentioned Hello Kitty, and everyone shuddered at all they've witnessed and what it must say about us all." Those weren't the only issues to come from these incidents. The commotion caused multiple traffic jams, excessive litter in the area, as well as many noise complaints from those who lived near the various McDonald's locations. By the time the Chinese wedding kitties were released, McDonald's decided on a voucher system in which if a customer purchased more than 2 extra value meals, they'd be required to pay an extra 9 Singapore dollars for a voucher in which they could get the extra kitties a few months later. There was also no limit on vouchers, so employees saw customers buying up to 40 vouchers. Insane. Singapore citizens who were around during this craze reminisce on some families eating nothing but McDonald's for weeks on end, as those who purchased multiple extra value meals for the kitties had tons of food left over for their families that they wouldn't let go to waste. And if you're curious, these sets aren't even worth that much nowadays. Don't get me wrong, they aren't cheap, but I've typically seen them go for around $50+, you know, depending on the quality, if they're still in the little McDonald's bag, if you have the whole set, like with Hello Kitty and Dear Daniel. They didn't really have to be doing all that. Surprisingly though, this wouldn't even be the last time that Hello Kitty McDonald's toys caused riots in Singapore, as it basically happened again in 2014. But we have much to get to, so I'll definitely talk about it in a part 2 if you want, and let's move on. Jellycat controversy. When researching for this video, I was kind of shocked to see Jellycat's name next to the word controversy. They've always seemed like the biggest plushie fad that has also weirdly flown under the radar at the same time. From what I've seen, the community itself is pretty chill. They don't make a huge deal out of their collections like, say, Squishmallow or Labubu people. Overall, a seemingly unproblematic product. However, there was an yep, okay. I love a good interesting. There was an interesting issue concerning the toys over the summer that I thought would be worth bringing up, so let's get into it. Again, although it's not as dramatic as some of the others in this video, I think it does bring up an interesting conversation about our favorite franchises in general, small businesses, and morals. Back in July of 2025, Jellycat had been in some hot water due to their decision to abruptly stop partnering with around 100 small businesses in the UK, some that have loyally sold their plushies for decades. These businesses were all met with the same copy and paste email, with every email being addressed to Jellycat Stockist. Basically, the message states that after careful consideration, Jellycat will no longer be supplying their products to blank small businesses, and this is all related to their brand elevation strategy. The email would then proceed to tell the business to not place any more orders, and this decision is not up for negotiation. These stores were also not given a solid reason as to why they were being let go of this partnership. This decision has left small businesses absolutely devastated, especially those who have supported Jellycat for over 20 years, such as Rumors, located in Whitby. The owner of the store, Joe Orell, explains that he was, quote, absolutely gutted by this email that he literally couldn't believe. He explained that Jellycat plushies made up a significant portion of the store's income. Jellycat states, quote, unfortunately, we're not able to support every shop that wants to stock our products, and after very careful consideration, we recently reviewed our relationship with some stores. This has led to quite a few social media post announcements from small businesses announcing to their customers that they unfortunately will not be selling Jellycats anymore. Some of these posts are honestly really sad, like this post from the Squeakle. I got Alvin and the Chipmunks on the mind. Squeakle Media. I'm sorry, you guys. I am undercaffeinated right now. Like this post from Squeakle Media with a sad-faced plushie saying, goodbye, Jellycat. Quote, we have been assured by Jellycat that this is through no fault of ours, although of course we wonder why they made this decision. We have always met and surpassed minimum orders, paid our bills promptly, and supported their brand on our social media just because we liked them. We've purchased a great deal of Jellycat over the years and would have purchased more if not for their recent manufacturing shortages. According to Jellycat, the decision to stop selling to Squeakle Media is just a new facet of their global brand strategy. We have to assume it's a matter of independent stores being less profitable for Jellycat, no matter how many plush toys they order. We're very disappointed in any brand strategy that actively seeks to harm small businesses and long-time working relationships, again over a decade, but so be it. Although, of course, Jellycat is well within their right to sever business partnerships, they are a business after all, and sometimes tough decisions have to be made, but I'm not sure this is necessarily a smart idea. As many fans have pointed out, some of the charm of shopping for Jellycats was finding them in these little local stores. Something I love about Jellycat hunting in towns I'm visiting is the cute little boutiques and gift shops I find that sell them. I always thought that was part of Jellycat's charm. This is so disappointing. They are completely missing the point that half the fun of collecting is hunting for new ones in little unknown or known shops. I was a stockist years ago and loved them. Quality in the last 2 years has gone down. They are pricey for what you get. Some of them are not much better than what you'd win at a carnival. It comes across as snotty and ungrateful. It's lovely little independent stores that made Jellycat the brand it is today. They, Jellycat, forget the little people and their stores have put them where they are now, and they should be grateful for their support. Disgusting. I think for me, it almost always comes back to technically versus morally. Yes, of course, technically and legally, Jellycat is 100% allowed to make this kind of decision if they feel it's best for business. But on the other hand, morally, it's kinda slimy. These are the stores that supported you before you saw any major success. And to drop them like flies is not only morally messed up, but that actually could affect the business they seem to care so much about. I think it's about picking your battles. Dropping all the mom and pop stores that made you who you are today is something that your fans will take note of and maybe choose not to support you anymore. Is it really worth the backlash you could get for making this kind of decision? I don't think so. This conversation has been really interesting to me lately. I'd love to hear what you guys think of this issue. I can't wait to read the comments on that, and let's move on. Labubus. We've covered Labubus and their controversies on this channel before. Definitely go check out this video if you're interested in the bigger conversation surrounding overconsumption and consumerism and just, I don't know, TikTok and stuff. But today we will be going over some of the individual incidents that have happened because of these little ugly bitches. Although I think all of us can feel the craze slowly dying down, Labubus have really had their year. Returning back to the first entry, like Cabbage Patch Kids, parents can't wrap their heads around why kids love these things so much. Calling them ugly, asking why anyone would go through the trouble to get one, and doing it anyway for the happiness of their child. We truly haven't changed a bit, have we? Although, we kind of have. That's actually a lie. Most of the madness surrounding Labubus actually have to do with resellers. Yes, there were people reselling Cabbage Patch Kids back in the 80s. This is not a new thing. However, with the internet and how much more accessible reselling is, it's honestly devastatingly difficult to get your hands on your favorite product the day it comes out. It's crazy. The product comes out, scalpers snatch 100 of them off shelves that same day, practically forcing those who actually are interested in the product and want to have it to buy from these resellers who hike up the price exponentially. It's slimy, and if you're a scalper, get out of here. I'm not even kidding. Like, get out. Watch, someone will be like,
Flurry, that's really insensitive that you would say something about scalpers.
watch, it'll happen. To me, scalpers are like the paparazzi. It's like, how could that be your job and you're like proud of it? Me, I say as a YouTuber, relax, relax. Anyway, it's November now. As I said months ago, and as many people said months ago, the Labubu hype will die down, and we'll start looking at them as a fad of the past. Don't get me wrong, they're still pretty poppin', but I don't know, maybe people are starting to wake up and realize, in this economy, most people cannot afford to spend over $100 on a little freaking doll. Especially when we know that they aren't originally sold for that much. It's just so annoying. This, satisfyingly, has scalpers panicked, which I love it, because they're now struggling to sell hundreds of these Labubus that they themselves had wiped off shelves for the very reason of reselling them at triple the price. Sorry. And Pop Mart, the home of the Labubu, if you will, actually welcomes this decline in reseller profit as they feel the products should go to the customers. Quote, Labubu's resale secondhand market significantly boosted the popularity of the toy. At the same time, it's not very healthy long-term because it alienates your real customers, long-term customers, and Pop Mart does not wish to be a one-hit wonder. Anyway, although resellers are struggling now, let's look back on the eventful summer we had concerning Labubus. One being the $30,000 worth of stolen Labubus reported in California back in August of this year, in which multiple suspects were entering warehouses and stealing several boxes of Labubus with plans to resell them. And that is far from the only time this has happened in recent months. That same month, also in California, around $25,000 worth of Labubus were stolen from a store in the middle of the night. And you guys, this is so ridiculous. We even have footage of the burglars and the way they're yelling at each other, moving all quick and knocking stuff over. It's hilarious. Like, what do you mean you're doing all that for a fucking Labubu? And just when we thought the Labubu craze had somewhat died down, a few weeks ago in late October, a 40-year-old man in Melbourne was arrested for stealing 43 Labubus from a central business district shopping center, with the estimated value of the dolls being over $9,000. And it's not just Labubus being stolen from stores. Many parents have actually come out with stories of their children getting Labubus snatched off their backpacks at school. But people simply stealing Labubus from stores is not the only common controversy for this brand. Pop Mart has really begun cracking down on counterfeit Labubus or Lafufus. In fact, Pop Mart actually sued 7-Eleven recently for selling Lafufus. And I'm not gonna say a word, me before I say a word. Recently, somewhere, I went to a store and they had so many Lafufus and I really had to stop myself from getting one. They were really cheap, and honestly, I want a Lafufu. I think they're even weirder looking than regular Labubus, and they're more accessible. And a few months back, in August, over 11,000 Lafufus were seized at the Seattle airport, worth $500,000. They aren't even real. Customs and Border Protection states, quote, "Fake Labubus are not welcome in America. Thanks for the good catch, Seattle." The shipment from South Korea was allegedly falsely labeled lead bulb, but actually contained over 11,000 Lafufus, which, quote, breached federal laws of importation and merchandise involved in copyright or trademark violations. No charges were filed, as well as no arrests. I don't know, it seems like the police are pretty satisfied with the fact that whoever was trying to resell these are getting no money. But what did the police do with the counterfeit Labubus, you may ask? They destroyed them. I wish I knew how. I wish I knew how. I don't know why I picture them being like cremated or like shredded in those machines. I don't think that would work, but like, I'm just picturing it. Comment below how you would destroy 11,000 Lafufus. Okay, you guys, so I am so excited because I don't know if you guys remember in our Plushies Getting Worse video, I talked about some of my favorite plushies and how I came across this Instagram account named Weeping Waterlilies. I just became obsessed with their unique, whimsical, yet like soft and cute looking designs. I describe them as everything I think a plushie should be, honestly. Me and Weeping Waterlilies have been discussing things, and they actually sent me a plushie and possibly other things. I don't think I've ever been so excited to unbox anything. I have no idea what they look like. I gave them an idea of what I wanted. I like pink and green together a lot, so I said that. But besides that, I was like, whatever you think, I just need something from you. So let's open it. Look at how cute everything is wrapped. What is... Oh my god, there's a Littlest Pet Shop, no way! Oh my god, you're kidding. Stop! I was not expecting a pet shop, oh my god! Oh my god, there's so much in here, you guys. Oh wait, there's a little note. So we got this little bag. Dear Flurry, I just wanted to write this letter to thank you. Since being contacted by you, I have seen a rapid jump in traffic on social media and even got my first international commission. I'm so happy we were able to collaborate, and I'm honored you chose to work with such a small creator like me. Oh my god. I really hope you enjoy the little guys I made for you as much as I enjoyed making them with you in mind. To show you the extent of my gratitude and appreciation, I also chose to add some extra goodies I thought you would enjoy. I'm crying. I don't want to read there's spoilers in here for the rest of the things. I'll finish reading that after. Oh my god, we have some Weeping Waterlily stickers. Wait, I'm gonna put these on my Kindle actually. Let's start here. Oh my god. Stop, it says Flurry Moon on it. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. Are you kidding me right now? I always love what they do on the back, this little Weeping Waterlilies thing. This is so special, like to have a plushie with my name on it, like my Flurry Moon name. Like, I'm a wreck right now. I will cherish this forever, genuinely. I don't know if you could tell the lighting is kind of, but it is pink as well. Like, it's green and pink because I asked for like strawberry matcha vibes. Oh my god, let's get it together. Let's get it together. Let's have a sip. Have a sip. Oh my god, you guys, there's so much in here. Another one, they're all wrapped beautifully. Whoa. Oh my god, no way! Stop. Stop it. Stop it right this second. I'm crying again. Oh my god, you guys, this is like probably so annoying to watch me just sob over plushies, but this looks a lot like one of the first plushies I encountered by them. It's just like, I love like bunnies. This is like stitched on so cutely with the little Weeping Waterlilies on the back. The tail. I feel like emotionally connected to these plushies. I can't explain it. You guys are never gonna see me without these things now, I fear. Don't talk to me and my babies, okay? We have more to get to, so let's move on. So there's, look at this tiny. Oh my goodness. Oh my god, I love the ears. You guys gotta see this. Every little dangly thing, I'm losing the words for things right now, is like so unique. Like, look at this little kitten, this little cute little bunny rabbit thing. Like, what are you? It's handmade so beautifully and like with so much like love. This is what I mean when I say like, these are what plushies should be. Oh my god. Okay, I think I see what this is. Oh my god. We share this bond over rescue pets and I'm so happy to have a plushie. How sweet. Oh my god, I'm just so excited. I'm just like flying. What? No way. Stop, look at this shadow shirt, you guys. You're kidding. This was so unexpected. And this is a biggie. I don't even, oh my god. No. Oh my god. It's a bag. I'm speechless. I'm like, I have no words. The details, all these little charms, these little flowery pieces that are like, I cannot believe this is real. This is insane. And look, it zips and everything. You could actually like put stuff in here. Oh my god, and the inside is so cute too. This is unreal. All of this? For me? I added a duplicate e-pet I had on hand since I'm aware you share a terminal obsession with rescue pets. I also noticed you mentioned in one of your videos how much you love monkey LPS figures and added one for you. I've had it since I was a child and knew it would be loved and appreciated in your hands. The Sonic shirt was just something I found in a thrift store that made me think of you. I truly hope you enjoy the plushies and extra bits I've sent to show my appreciation and would love to work with you again in the future if such an occasion were to come up. I think you are so talented and have become obsessed with your content to the point you have become my favorite YouTuber. This has to be one of the sweetest things anyone has ever done for me. I'm so lucky that doing this has led me to some of the sweetest people ever. I cannot recommend Weeping Waterlilies enough. I had talked about them before. This is a small business you're going to need to check out. And also their store is in their description. It is weepingwaterlilies.bigcartel.com. It's right here if you want to take a little screenshot. It would mean the world to me if you guys went and checked out their stuff. Oh my god, so let's do a final look at everything. Bye! Anyway, that's about it for this week's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. I had a blast doing this, if you couldn't tell. Comment below if you'd like a part 2, or if you'd like me to cover any specific plushie or toy drama, controversy, whatever it may be. I honestly can't wait for the holiday content. I'm getting ready. I don't know if you could tell. I'm trying to have like a light pink Santa Tell Me Christmas. If you get it, you get it. I don't know if anyone else gets like seasonal depression, but it definitely kicks in after Christmas, so I'm really trying to like welcome the cold. I bought a scarf recently. Hot chocolate, just think of hot chocolate, just think of I live in New England, so the winters here are wild and it's gonna be crazy, so I'm really trying to welcome this like freezing cold vibe, you know? So anyway, I just totally got off topic, but I love you guys so much and I'll see you next week. Bye!